I want to start this video with something that's got absolutely nothing to do with food. Look at the children in your life. They don't have to be yours. They can be kids in your neighbourhood. They could be your grandchildren. They could be your nieces or your nephews. Now think about the elders in your life. Maybe your grandparents, your parents, somebody in your neighbourhood. The time between those two things feels like a lifetime. But here's what I've learned. Time is not in our control. Time and people can be taken from us in a blink of an eye. We know this. Most of us know this in our bones. Some of us even spend a lot of energy thinking about it all the time. But what is in our control is what we dedicate our time to whilst we have it. Will what we do today actually move us closer to a life that's worth living? Will it feed our purpose or pull us away from it? If you were to lose everything tomorrow, the income, the certainty, the structure, what is the one thing that you wish you could have done more of? I'm fairly sure that it's, I wish I'd spent more time connected to nature, maybe with my hands in the dirt, or teaching my kids how to grow something. It might be, I wish I'd spent more time in the kitchen, bringing people together, making connections with full hearts, full minds, and full bellies. It might even be, gosh, I wish I had made a tradition like Passata Day, where everyone's hands are getting red and the kitchen smells like summertime and the kids are running around, getting in the way, helping. It's those things, the ones that feel small when you're in the middle of a busy life, the ones that tend to get postponed because something more urgent came up. Those are the ones that matter most in hindsight. Today I'm talking about preservation. But I want you to understand that preservation is far more than the practical skill of preserving food. And it's in every single part of what I teach. Sure, it's a skill that closes the loop on the 12-month food security plan. And it's the art of taking what comes out of the garden or the orchard and making it shelf stable so you can eat out of season anytime you like. It's the summer tomatoes that you get to eat in winter. It's the autumn apples that become chutney in spring. And it's the garlic that hangs in your shed and seasons your meals for 12 months to come. The sauerkraut that's fermenting on the bench will be fueling your gut health for the next 3 months ahead. Practically speaking, preservation is what gives you 12 months worth of food security. It's the difference between what your garden produces for 3 months versus what you can actually eat for 12. But here's what I actually want to talk about. Think about the skills that your grandparents or their grandparents could have had that they just didn't pass down. The way that your parent or grandparent used to look at a pot of jam on the stove and know how much sugar to add or know exactly when it was ready just by the way it moved on the back of a spoon. The way that your grandfather used to know how to smoke a fish or cure a ham or make something last throughout winter just because that's what you did. These weren't just skills that fed people. They were occasions around which life happened. Passata Day wasn't just about making that tomato sauce. It was about the aunties and the uncles and the cousins all around, and the nonna standing over a stove. And making sourdough is not about the bread. It's about the rhythm of it, the feeding, the waiting, that particular smell of fermentation, the person that taught you, the kitchen that you were standing in when you first understood how it all worked. Fermentation is not just a preservation technique. It's one of the oldest human traditions on earth. Every culture in every part of the world has fermented something. It's deep in our history. And it's one of the simplest, most forgiving, and most rewarding acts of preservation that you can do. And when you learn the simple skills of preservation, you tend to move through the seasons with an awareness of knowing what's coming, what need preserving, and what your pantry needs and what your family needs for the months ahead. And something changes in your relationship with time. You stop being a passenger in the seasons and start being a participant with them. I teach 3 main preservation methods: fermentation, dehydration, and canning. You don't need to learn them all at once, but you can just start with one to get you going. Most people start with fermentation because sauerkraut is so easy and it takes little ingredients and little equipment. And it costs almost nothing and is so good for your gut health. The first time you open a jar of something that you've preserved yourself, particularly something that's alive, you realize it's actually not all that complicated, and this was how life was supposed to be. The skills that your grandmother or your great-grandmother had were not some mysterious inherited gift. They were learnable, they were simple, and they were just practiced. But I want to go back to what I said at the beginning of this video. What we dedicate ourselves to is in our control. Income is not resilience. I know because I've lived that. And neither are any of these skills in isolation. A full pantry isn't resilience. A garden bed with annual vegetables isn't resilience. And preservation skills alone aren't resilience either. But these skills together, woven into how your household operates, into the rhythms of your week, and the traditions that you build with the people that you love, that is real resilience. And that is the legacy that I'm working towards. And the question that I keep coming back to is the same one that I want to leave with you today. What is your legacy? Now, I just want to take a sec before I wrap up to give you some more information about something that I have built for those who want more than what information is in these videos. It's called the Resilience Village. It's a community where everything that I've talked about across these 5 videos gets talked about in depth and in practice. And we do it in company of other families who are doing exactly the same thing as you. The Resilience Village is the home of my Foundations of Resilience program. In 60 days, I'll walk you through all 4 pillars. The unbreakable mindset, the food freedom pantry, where you will understand and manage your own 45-day food security buffer. Food production and design. We're talking no-dig garden installation and how to grow everything you need from seed to harvest, as well as how to capture food systems in your community to make you have a closed-loop system for ongoing resilience. And preserving the surplus. Fermentation, dehydration, and canning. And of course, the first jar of something that you've made with your own 2 hands, and how to make sourdough starter from scratch. Each module has real homework. I'm talking practical and do it with your own 2 hands kind of skills. Each module has a mastery checkpoint, so you can make sure you've understood each section before you move on. I show up live and go through a real-life mentoring session. And no, it's not just to present slides, it's to make you accountable and make sure you're actually moving the needle on real resilience. It's to answer your questions in your context, and so you can get real strategies to help you move the needle forward. I'll also check to make sure you're doing your homework and no one's getting stuck, and to let you know that you're not alone. Because this is the thing about learning practical skills. You need someone who has done it. So when you hit the hurdle and it doesn't quite look the way the instructions say it should, you've got someone at your side guiding you through. I'm that person, and I show up every single week. The 60 Days to Security is where the Foundations of Resilience program lives, inside the Resilience Village. In the first 60 days, based on what I've seen most families do, most people reduce their grocery bills by about $100 a week. Not to mention, they're reducing food waste, they're increasing household systems and resilience, and of course, they've got biological assets that are paying them dividends and returns for the next 50 years. If what I've said across any of these 5 videos resonates with you, if the world that I described in video 1 feels real to you, if the mindset shift in video 2 is something that you're ready to make, if the household audit sounds like something that your household needs, if you want to grow something and preserve something and build food security that works in a 12-month system, then I welcome you to join me inside the Resilience Village. The link is in the description below, or you can DM me on the social media platforms listed below too. And if you're not ready for this program yet, that is totally fine. There is a free area of the Resilience Village too. If you comment village on any of my videos, I'll know that you want the freebie and I'll send the link right over. That is where all of these conversations and more can continue. It's where your questions can get answered and where people on a journey like you find one another. People inside the Resilience Village also get first dibs on when new content drops and, of course, real-life meetups. Either way, you're welcome to join me. I want to close with this. The children in your life are watching what you do. Not necessarily what you say, but what you do in your actions every single day. The choices that you make today, the way that you run your household, the skills that you build, and the way that you prioritize your time. Those choices are the inheritance that you're already leaving. Not in the future, now. Every Saturday morning in the garden together, or every afternoon in the kitchen making something. Every jar that you put on the shelf with your own 2 hands. That is the legacy, and that is the tapestry. Start weaving it today. I'll see you in the community.